UvaldeRadio.net, Robert Miguel here. Good morning. And we have got a very special guest on the phone, a gentleman who's based out of or from Oklahoma, but actually made it down to Uvalde here very recently. And we're excited to talk to him about his brand new track and all the things that have brought him to where he is today. Please welcome on the phone Mr. Clay Aery. Did I say it right? Is it Aery or is it different?
No, you said it perfect.
All right, Clay Aery. All right. You know, you get the records and then you play them and then you wonder if you're saying it right the whole time, you know, until you meet the guy.
Yeah, a lot of people get it wrong. They say Aery, and some people spell it wrong a lot, so...
Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to talk to us. This is kind of cool because normally when I'm playing like a new record, a new song, a lot of times you guys have not been to Uvalde yet. But in your case, you've already been to Uvalde and you've already done a show out here. So you kind of got a little bit of a reference point as to who you're talking to, right?
Yes, sir. That's pretty good show. Ended up actually pretty good. It was slow at first, but ended up pretty good. Every table was full. So
yeah, so we had you out for Friday Night Live, which is our showcase, which normally happens in downtown Uvalde at a place called Broadway 830. Now, they are shut down for renovations right now, so one of their sister properties, Hangar 6 Air Cafe, which is right outside our little Garnerfield Airport in Uvalde, which, you know, Uvalde is a small town, but we do have a little airport, which is kind of cool, and so we moved our shows Friday nights to the Hangar 6 Air Cafe. So you're playing out there in the patio right there. Did any planes or copters come and go while you were playing?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I got to watch a couple of them land, and just watched the airport and the airplanes. That was pretty cool.
It is a pretty neat experience, especially now that it's kind of fall and cooling off a little bit. So again, thank you for coming down to Uvalde. I'm so sorry I couldn't make the show, and I apologize for now. Normally, what we would do is do the interview, in advance of the show to promote that you're coming to town. But we had a lot going on, including we cover our football games, and sometimes we get a little shorthanded. So, man, Clay, it is an honor to finally catch up with you, talk to you about your story, about your music, and get that new song on the radio. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning before we get into your exact experience here in Uvalde. But you're from Oklahoma, right? Are you still based there, or did you move and shake around a little bit?
Yeah, I'm originally from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, but I moved to Yukon, Oklahoma, and then I've been living in Yukon for a while now. So
now you are making the rounds. I know that you've done some records, you've got some music out there, so you've been doing this a while. But is this your first push to Texas? The Texas radio market? Yep,
this is my first push in the Texas market. I've had a lot of songs out there, but this is definitely my first Texas song.
So why the decision to push specifically to Texas? Was it one of those things where you kind of already were in touch with the scene, or did you hear from people like, hey, man, you know what, your stuff would fare well in Texas? What was the story there?
I did some stuff Nashville-based, and didn't really like it too much, and I already knew a bunch of artists that were in the Texas market. I really liked David Adam Burns' sound and his style, and fortunately I get to work with the people he works and get to write with him and play with him, and so I wanted to be more country as it was, so I decided to go the Texas route and push my song in the Texas market because that's who I am. I'm more country in my style anyways. So I was tired of writing songs for other people and decided to write songs for myself.
Well, you mentioned David Adam Burns, and your story sounds very similar to what he's gone through, and he's made a really big impact in Texas country. And, man, I'm telling you what, I haven't delved into your full catalog yet, but your new track is definitely something that we are digging here in the Texas country market. Let's go ahead and talk about that back catalog. How long have you been writing and recording? How many records out there have your name on it? Give us the discography, if you will.
I think I have seven songs out. The recording process, I've been writing for about 10 years, wow. But I've been recording for about 7. Same as performing live. I've been performing since I was 20 years old, which was almost 8 years ago now, but I would say, 7-8 years performing, writing, and recording all that time. Was a very long overdue process, was very slow, and it's definitely caught up with me, and now it's moving forward. So
Well, man, you're still a young buck. You got plenty of years ahead of you, and your music, again, is extremely promising, so I expect big things from you. Now, let's go ahead and go back to the very beginning. I read on your website that you started off with more of an athletic, I guess, direction, and then you found yourself in music. To go and give us a story of what led you into country music specifically.
Man, my family has always inspired me to do country music. My dad, ever since my grandma I never got to meet died, my dad was fed with George Strait every day. My grandma used to feed my dad with George Strait, and ever since then, he started listening to rock music before I was born. He listened to classic rock a lot, and when I was born, he decided to name me. Him and my mom decided to name me after Clay Walker, so that's what they did. And then he put George Strait in my ear, and at first I didn't love it, but now I love it. George Strait's probably one of my favorites. But what became of my country music career is my whole family and my dad, especially my dad's side. They're very inspired by music, and I grew up playing baseball at the age of 4. I started playing baseball at the age of 4 and played all the way through college. And I ended up getting hurt and tearing my ACL in meniscus in college, and decided to pick the guitar back up and follow along in that path and started singing country music in clubs around Tulsa, Oklahoma, and continued on there.
Now, you mentioned that you're named after Clay Walker. It just boggles my mind that I'm talking to an adult man that is your age that was named after Clay. That kind of puts perspective on how long I've been, how old I am. But obviously, Clay Walker was a big deal to your mom and dad. Was that an artist that you heard a lot growing up? Was there a particular song that meant something to them? And do you cover any Clay Walker stuff in your set?
I believe they listened to Clay Walker a lot. They loved Clay Walker, and I love Clay Walker. I mean, any music by him is great. I think, in particular, a song that always rang a bell to me there's 2 of them, and it was "Fall" and "Where Do I Fit in the Picture." Those 2 songs right there by Clay Walker really ring a bell to me. Those are 2 of my favorite of his, and yeah.
Very cool. Well, we got Clay Aery on the phone, and he's got a hot new single called Only One, which you can hear right here on UvaldeRadio.net, and we will play it here when we're done talking to Clay. Again, you made the trip down to Uvalde a couple of weekends ago at the Hangar 6 Air Cafe. Go ahead and tell us quickly, what was your experience like? Did you get to go in town, or did you stay out there in the fringe near the hangar? And, well, first of all, let's preface by this. Was that your first visit to Uvalde?
That was my first visit to Uvalde, and it was very... I wouldn't say it was weird at all. It was very shocking to me how many people were out and about, and from what's happened. And I didn't get to really visit in the town very much. I'd just gotten to Uvalde and started setting up, playing, and meeting people. And at night I had to leave, so I didn't get to really go through the town.
Sure.
So I wanted to just take a look and see, but. Yeah, it was an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, like I said, I know that we've been in the news constantly since May, since the tragedy here, and I'm personally interested to feel what, I guess, outsiders think when they come here, because I'll say this, as a media representative of the town, that incident does not represent Uvalde life. It's something that we definitely don't want to be defined by. It's now a part of our DNA, just because. But yes, we're trying to heal and move on, and we appreciate artists like you coming to town and spreading some joy and bringing some love and laughter. So thank you again for coming down here, and we look forward to having you back again. Now, you've been hitting it hard, man. I know your record guy, Dylan Steen, he's got you working, and if it's not him, I'm sure it's so you got a good machine behind you. Tell me about some of the places you've been. I know you've been hitting radio stations and doing lots of shows throughout Texas, like hitting it hard. Brag about some of the places you've been lately.
I've been, it seems like where have I not been?
Right.
That's a real thing to say. But no, I've been pretty much all over Texas, all the way from Abilene to Corpus Christi to Uvalde, and pretty much east, west, south, north. I've been in Texas. I even went to Arkansas. I've been a few places in Oklahoma. I would say I mean, I really haven't been to a place that's really spectacular, like, hey, I'm in a Superdome, or like the coolest place in the world, or anything like that. But I've definitely seen, what the cool thing about it is I've seen a lot of places that I haven't seen, and that's the good part about my job, and that I love, is places that I haven't got to see, and travel all over. That's probably one of my favorite things to do, is travel. So, I mean, getting to see new places and new faces is my goal. So.
Now, being an Oklahoma boy, Texas is not, so foreign to you, I'm sure. There's a certain amount of Texas culture, that our neighbors in Oklahoma absorb by osmosis. But had you ever spent this much time on the Texas highways? And what was that? I mean, just experience the vastness that is Texas. I mean, it goes on forever, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does go on forever. A lot of it is wide open country, and some of it is like Oklahoma, and it reminds me, it's just that if Oklahoma wasn't Texas, it'd probably be the same to me, except for, I don't know who has more construction or traffic, Texas or Oklahoma.
I sure hope it's Texas, because, it's so bad here. It's so bad. Yeah. But I always remind myself before I get road raging that means it's going to get better. So, very cool. Well, let's go ahead and talk about what's in the future, man. You got the new single, which we'll play here in a while. What are the plans? Are you doing single by single, kind of doing radio pushes? Are you going to put out a full record? Are you the kind of guy that puts out CDs or vinyl? Or are you just a streaming kind of guy? What are the plans, and how can your listeners consume your music?
Man, right now, I think the goal is the single, focusing on this single, and then when it's time to do the next single, we'll do the next single, and from there, I think we're going to work on possibly an album starting next year, and some cooler stuff happening. I think we're really going to focus on radio and promotions on just streaming and everything else. And I think we like to do, every once in a while, we like to do CDs and streaming's well. We like to focus on streaming, because, I mean, who's not focusing on streaming these days?
Yeah, that's right.
But you can find all that on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. That's where you can find all my music, basically, all the main outlets.
Any cool high-profile shows coming up? Any more opening acts with David Adam Burns or anybody that might even be more high-profile? What's the plans as far as getting out on the road? Are you doing it? And also, are you just doing it by yourself right now, or do you have a backup band that you can call on to?
Man, I do have a band. I usually get to play with the band. That's what I've always been used to, is playing with the band. But no, I've been doing a lot of acoustic stuff, opening up for people. I know I have some pretty cool shows coming up. I'm going to the Rev Room in Little Rock with David for his other album. I mean, album release party. He's having a second album release party at the Rev Room in Little Rock. And we go to 3 dates in Colorado the next weekend. That'll be a fun drive. And then I play also with him in Midland. The weekend after that, I play with him in Midland and Abilene. And then I go play with Buddy Hall next year. No, not Buddy Hall, sorry, Buddy Jewell. Okay. And that'll be in Eanthus and Arlington. And I think next year also, one of my favorite venues that I get to play in with Curtis Grimes and David at the same show will be in Stillwater, Oklahoma at Tumbleweeds.
Nice.
Show. So.
All right, so again, Clay Aery on the phone here. Let's go ahead and talk about the new single and get it on. The track is called Only One, and give me the background on it. Did you write it? If not, who wrote it? Who brought it to you? What was the process of recording it? And tell me a little bit about what it's about.
That's my favorite part of the day. Only One. Craig Campbell, one of my good buddies, Craig Campbell, sent it to me a few months back, and he was telling me the story at it one day. We were at the lake, and I was playing with him at the lake one day, and sat down with me and told me that he used to take his clothes to a tailoring shop called Only One Tailoring, and he was thinking of the double meaning behind it, like there's only one and only one, and he took it to a couple buddies of his, one being Joel Shoemake, who wrote Family Man with him, and they wrote the song. He sent it to me, and I got sent at least 12 songs by him, and I got sent about 100 from other people. and I picked 3, and I started listening to Only One a lot more than others, and we picked Only One, and that was the Only One song. I went to the recording part of it. I went to the recording studio, and my producer, Bart Bush, he said, I think we need more feeling out of the song, so he told me to call up my girlfriend, and I called up my girlfriend, Ashley, and so that's how we got more feeling out of it. And I like to dedicate it to her every time I get the chance, so I dedicate that song to Only One to Ashley every time. So that's how the song came about.
That's awesome, man. I love how you've really, got a personal, angle with it. Very cool. Well, it's a great song, man. It is climbing up the charts, and we're going to get it on the air here very soon. Again, Clay Aery on the phone. Thank you, man, for checking in. Where can we, my listeners, find out more about you, whether it's a website or social media, that kind of stuff?
All the social media, Twitter, TikTok, Bookface, Instagram. You can find me on my website as well at clayaerymusic.com. You can find all the good stuff there.
All right, and that's Clay Aery, which is Aery, and then you said music.com, right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
All righty, sir. Clay, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We cannot wait to have you back in Uvalde again so I can see you in person and shake your hand, okay?
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man.
All right, here it is. Only One. This is Clay Aery, and this is UvaldeRadio.net.
There's only one Mississippi, only one king of rock and roll, and only one brand of whiskey I ain't allowed to drink when I'm alone. There's only one road into my hometown, and the same one gets you out. Yeah, you're the only one that makes my little world go round. The only one who turns it right side up when it's upside down. Yeah, there might be plenty of fish in the sea, oh, but even my heart would agree. Baby, you're the only one, you're the only one for me. There's more than one way to love you, but only one way to love you right. Yeah, that's right. There's more than one way to hold you, but only one way to hold you tight. There might be more than one way to skin a cat, no, but we ain't talking about that. Yeah, you're the only one that makes my little world go round. The only one who turns it right side up when it's upside down. Yeah, there might be plenty of fish in the sea, oh, but even my heart would agree. Baby, you're the only one, you're the only one for me. Yeah, you're the only one that makes my little world go round. The only one who turns it right side up when it's upside down. Yeah, since our first kiss, you've been my cup of tea, oh, but